Hello, NSL world. We are getting really, really close to getting back to business. Which at the start of the off season, when it's 4+ months away, um, seems a bit insurmountable. But as time does, it continues to tick along and pass. So we're almost back. It's really exciting. More activity on Discord. Some decisions being made about how our next 2022-23 season will possibly look like. Just great to see all the names popping up on Discord after the hibernation period. Um, so, what I wanted to cover today is the other half of my roster that wasn't covered in the written article, because I was more excited to talk about these guys. These are the new additions to Portland. So, as mentioned previously, we've been really busy trading. One, to just keep the passion for NSL going, because I do love fantasy sports, and NSL is the pinnacle of that. So I've been really excited to just evaluate, scour the landscape for possible deals, and even personal goals aside. It's just nice to see how other GMs are doing and how they're shaping their teams, and you can already see the identities and the GM's DNA kicking into to shape and mold that team to be what the manager wants it to be, the most successful build in their opinion. And I love the differences. I love the disagreements about 2K factors and real life factors of our players. It's just really exciting to see everyone's slowly coming back to the fold. So very, very busy in the Portland front office. 9 trades we've made or been a part of, which must almost be half the deals that have gone down in the off season. It cost us a lot of GMs, but I felt it wasn't worth that. The detrimental factor of losing GMs wasn't worth losing the fit or the value or the skill set that was coming in via trade. So yeah, we'll cover through them. So this one happened very, very early. This was the first deal of the off season for me, pretty much. The Westbrook deal, and from the pieces that I received from the Kings, I was able to get Robert Covington, and this is the third, possibly fourth time I've had Cove. The poor guy never makes it through the season, and I find another deal to move him on. But I feel my outlook on my team has matured, or at least changed, and I think Cove will be someone who sticks around this season purely because of everything he does really well without the ball, and the dynamism he can give your team with his size, defensive versatility, 3-point shooting. Yeah, I just see him as my Swiss Army knife this year. And not that anyone ever offers me deals anyway, but I don't think I would move him unless it was for a king's ransom, because at 12 mil a season, he's as good as anyone as the role that he plays. So Cove could play anywhere from 2, 3, 4, 5 on my team, and I'm hoping that with the evolution of 2Ks, we get away from the caveman Neanderthal, boom, boom, tall 7-footer, good at everything, good at rebounding, good at finishing inside, to just make it more of a chess game. Which, yes, I've utilized the bigs and the double bigs in the past, but I think I'd welcome that added wrinkle of skill and shooting, being able to be a worthy counter attack against a tall team like that. So Covington, he's got his defensive badges, he's got some 3-point spot up shooting badges, and I just really love him this year as a fit. I've tried to build a different structured team this year as opposed to previous seasons, to be really fluid and dynamic. So Cove, welcome aboard, mate. Locked in. Now, another piece that came across in the Westbrook Kings deal is Seth Curry, who's had a bit of a renaissance in the NBA the last couple of seasons. He just keeps seeming to get better and better, or teams are realizing that his skill set is something that in the real NBA is incredibly valuable. And he's really getting showcased. He's someone who's going to average 15, 16 points a game, I think, for the next few seasons in the NBA. So was happy to get him as a part. I'm not sure how successful he is in 2K yet. I never really watched him last season. He's a one-way player, so he lacks any kind of defensive ability or instincts, and he's short. So the only reason I was good, well, not the only reason, I was good with keeping Seth because of how I envisioned the rest of the team being built. So if Seth is one of the most elite shooters in the game and a playmaker, which I believe he is, elite shooter, good playmaker, great decision maker, he will thrive when there are lots of other pieces to cover up his shortcomings on defense. So this is why I had to get Covington as part of this deal, because I couldn't just have short guards everywhere. So Cove covers him, Durant covers him with his length, and there's a player coming across in week 9 who should perfectly be able to cover Seth Curry if he does start at the shooting guard. But he's got amazing shooting ratings. I haven't really seen how he is in 2K23. From what I've seen, it'll be pretty good as that floor spreading shooter who can't play max minutes, I don't think, because of his shortcomings. But we'll see. We'll just see how dynamic the mix of players are. But Seth Curry has got a place in the NBA for the next 5, 6, 7 years. So was happy to get a piece back that will maintain some real life value. Now, further down the line, interestingly enough, I moved this player for Covington. I ended up getting him anyway. It's Derek Favors. So he's fallen out of favour in the NBA recently after being salary dumped to OKC. And then obviously OKC had no real inclination to want to play him with the tank going well and truly ahead in Oklahoma City. So he had an injury last year, but then he just rotted away on the bench. I think he played about 50 or 60 games in the NSL. What I love about Favors is he was good enough in his past, I think, to have the 2K refinement, like to have post moves, to have some tendencies to shoot a mid-ranger or to contest shots, to box out for rebounds. He's had a 10-year career that allows him to have an identity, and that's really what I wanted and what I needed. And he's a guy who can actually play 4 and 5. He's remarkably quick in his ratings for a guy that size. He was a very good athlete in his younger days, and then he got a bit stronger and heavier and isn't really utilized as an athlete much anymore. But I'm hoping he's still got some juice in 2K, because at this stage we don't have a starting center, but I'm really liking him off the bench with Alex Len. I just think that at the 4-5 is going to be very tall. They play two-way basketball, get rebounds, set screens, block shots. And at 10 mil on an expiring contract, was just happy to roll the dice with him this year. And if he leaves for nothing, so be it. But yeah, Fave's really excited to see what you can do as that backup big, but also to play multiple positions. Now, the next piece came in the Hardaway Jr. deal. So when I dealt Gordon Hayward to Dallas, I didn't really have a need for a shooting guard like Hardaway Jr. Already having Seth Curry, they sort of would not complement each other at all and sort of replace each other's actual ability to impact the team. So I had no need for him. So that held the deal up for a while, but then was able to find a party who was interested in a shooting guard. And this was able to net me Cole Anthony and Josh Richardson in that deal. So Josh Richardson from Dallas, Cole Anthony from the Detroit Pistons. So really excited about both these pieces. I see them as two of the better bench guards in the whole NSL. Cole Anthony on a rookie deal is great. I really didn't know much about him. He'll still be quite unrefined in 2K, I think, but in a perfect world, he's only playing 15 minutes off the bench for me. And hopefully I've got enough 2K experienced players that will demand some of that usage off him, and he won't hopefully chuck up as many bricks as he did last year for the Pistons. Um, but he's an exciting young player. He seems to care. From what I've seen in the NBA, he can run, he can dunk, he can pass. Shooting needs to improve a little bit, but maybe that's down to decision making and playing on a pretty bad team. But Cole Anthony, I couldn't even get a crotchety old point guard back up, so that fell into my lap, and really excited for him to play a role this year. I've had him in one or two trade offers that I've sent out, but the teams weren't really interested in making a move of that magnitude yet that I was after. So he's set in Portland, at least for the short term. And Josh Richardson, we kind of forgot about him a little bit in the NSL over the last season or two, and he's sort of mired in mediocrity a little bit in the NBA. His shooting percentages dropped, his role drops. I remember in Miami 5-6 years ago, he had a breakout season. It was almost like 18, 5-5. And his two-way ability, along with those stats, he was sort of looking to be like a bargain basement all-star type almost. And he's fallen off a little bit there, but for what I want for my team, in such a similar vein to Cove, with the multi-positional ability, two-way ability to shoot threes, and to play really tough defense, and just to be a good athlete. So I can see him playing anywhere 1, 2, 3, can start. Yeah, I don't know much about him in 2K either, but excited to see what he can do. And this is the most depth I've ever taken into a season. I typically sell everything, condense, and then go to free agency thinking I'll dominate. And then I end up leaving free agency with about 4 roster spots short. So it's been a season of trying to pick up just bench players from other teams this offseason. It's gone better than I've expected, but just trying to have some numbers on the bench. Because in seasons past, I've had to spend GMs, second rounders, just to get like 15th man off other teams. So tried to avoid that this year. But yeah, Cole Anthony and J Rich could both start. I see that as a really dynamic bench with Derek Favors, Alex Len, Cole Anthony, and Josh Richardson. I think that's really got some potential to not fall off too much when the starters do rest. And the last new player that I've added this offseason was just a throw-in a deal, drafted by the 76ers a few years ago, traded to Orlando last year, and traded to me in the Aaron Gordon, Lauri Markkanen deal. Marko Simjonovic, I should have looked that up. A really versatile offensive big man from Europe. So I think this is his third season he's going into. I think he's only 21. Oh, I can check actually. 22. So 6'11", 3-level scorer. I'm guessing the knock on him has been size, which he's added a lot of size this offseason, and defense. So I've only seen his G League highlights and some of the Summer League, which he played really well. I think he averaged 16 points, 9 rebounds for the Bulls Summer League team. No idea if he does anything this year, but from my Jordan Poole mistake, I'm trying to just give those younger guys a little bit more time to just wait and see. There's not really any downside. He was a throw-in a deal, and you don't know if the G League stats are fool's gold or not, but he seems to be a good passer. He seems like he can dribble. It seems like he, as I said, can shoot threes, shoot mid-range, shoot inside, play post. And he'll just be absolute bench depth for me, that third stringer, along with Knicks, Terry Taylor, Luke Cornett, those guys who, hopefully I don't ever really have to use them, but they are just there. As I said, you need to fill out the roster with something. So they're the kind of guys you might add in free agency, but I've just taken the route of paying for them, so to speak, pre-free agency. And yes, I cap my upside of who I can add in free agency, but just wanted to try something different for this season and a different strategy. Yeah, so that's the recap. I feel like I've added a couple of starters and really padded out the bench. As I said, it cost me like 75 GMs retrading, I think, something like that. Maybe I got a few GMs back, but I'm hoping it was worth the price of admission to get the depth and the versatility and the complementary pieces that I was after. So I guess that's the good thing about the off season is you have lots of time to think and consider before you feel like you have to make deals. So yeah, that's it for us on this pod. I think I've covered all the players. As I said, we're about 6 weeks off of free agency, roughly. And then it's not long after that until the season gets back, and there's just lots going on. I look at the transactions for the league. Where are we? Lots of qualifying offers going out. Middleton for Holiday, pretty exciting. I love that for both teams. I think it just made sense for the personnel that they had. Randall, I've already like Randall moving from moving from Dallas to the Lakers. The Lakers giving a few pieces back, but yeah, I understand that it was a salary dump for the Mavs, but I feel like Randall's better than that. Hopefully Jeng works out for Dallas. They're mostly my deals in here. Yeah, look, it's been a quiet off season. I hope everyone's had a great time outside of the NSL in their own lives and they are well. Love this community, so looking forward to getting back into it. Good luck to everyone in their teams. Until next time, go Blazers.